welcome back to Freedom from Fire. During these quite strenuous times, managing social distancing and making sure that we continue to follow appropriate safety guidelines, Freedom from Fire will continue to embrace the digital method via Zoom. We strive consistently, as always, to bring valuable content and information to our viewers, as well as providing our amazing interviews. For this episode, we have a very special guest who will tell us about their work in the Philadelphia Fire Department Special Operations Command Unit, as well as the Fire Science the Fire Science Program at Community College CCP of Philadelphia. So please stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to Freedom from Fire. I will be your host, Lieutenant Lisa DeSamour. I'm currently stationed in our department's Fire Prevention and Code Division, where community risk reduction efforts and compliant city code standards are a primary goal. Here at Freedom from Fire, we aim to improve your quality of living by giving you fire and life safety information. And occasionally, we will introduce you to our local safety partners. Today, we have a guest who I would like to say is a sort of veteran, not only to the fire department, but to Freedom from Fire. Chief, I think I've had you on a few times. Is that correct?
I think maybe about 3 times.
Thank you so much for joining us today. As I briefly mentioned earlier today, we have a few things that we'd like to talk about, and we always love having you on our show. You're very easy to talk to, and you always have really good information to give our folks. And there's always people that, will probably reach out to someone who will reach out to someone who will reach out to someone to ask. And who better to get information from than someone who is well-versed in special operations, who is well-versed in all things SOC, who is well-versed in PA Task Force 1. You kind of get the drift, right?
Correct.
Good,
Correct.
I'm glad you do.
Hey.
Chief, 26-year veteran or 27-year veteran?
So you're right there. December 5th is my 27th year anniversary.
27 years. Wow. How does that feel when you say that?
It's surreal. It doesn't seem real. I don't know where the time went. It's like yesterday I was in the fire academy, and that's not something to say. It actually is like yesterday I was in the fire academy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a good thing. What's the saying? You'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do, or something like that?
So true. So true. My children tell me that all the time. Dad, I want a job like yours.
Well, that's cool when kids can, your peoples can recognize, when you're giving back to the community or wherever you decide to, enter into the workforce. As long as you're passionate and you have a good sense of commitment, then you'll be okay. You'll be good.
Absolutely.
Cool. Chief, you've done technical rescue on fireground and other emergency incidents. Like I mentioned moments ago, you've been involved with PA Task Force 1, coordinator with CCP, the Fire Science Program. So I want to jump right into the questions because I have quite a few. I pretty much stick with the same first question, which I'm sure you are used to tell us, please, about yourself, your journey in the fire department, who you are.
Okay. I am Deputy Chief Carl Randolph. I'm a father of 4, which I think is the best job I ever had. I am recently on my, believe it or not, 50th birthday. The morning of, I had a grandson, a very first grandson.
Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. Dash Randolph is my very first grandson. So that happened maybe about April 10th. That's my birthday. So yeah, Mr. Dash will be 7 months today.
Okay.
It's November 10th.
I like that. I like that. So are you a grandpop? Are you a pop-pop? Are you
Pop
a
pop.
pop-pop?
Pop pop.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I always ask that because I think it's kind of cool that for us growing up, and I think I can say that for us, it was always grandpa. But
Yeah.
now, you got all kinds of other
Or
references.
abuelo. You
Abuelo,
know.
abuelito, abuelo for me
Yeah.
is abuelo. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Did you
So yeah, so that's the biggest job that I think the most important job that I have. But as important is my position in the fire department. Starting there at 23 years old was huge for me. It was a big lift. I was a single parent of a 3-year-old, and we made it happen. And now he has made me a grandfather. So that was a challenge. The very first station that I went to was very interesting, and I think it was very instrumental in my career and where I am today, and even my career decisions. I think that very first assignment, and I'll explain to you why just a little bit.
okay.
So I go there. I'm 23 years old, and a lot of people may not know this, but I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. But I've lived here longer than I ever lived there. I got here at about 19 years old.
Okay.
Joined the Navy, and I was in the shipyard. From the shipyard, when I transitioned outside the Navy, because I became a single parent, I did my four. Then I did some four reserves. In the meantime, I was working at community college as a security guard,
Interesting.
making $6 an hour.
Wow.
48 bucks a day. Yeah. As a single parent. And I ran into a group of firefighters who were taking fire science classes. I joined the Navy so that I could be a firefighter. I always wanted to be a firefighter. So when I went to see the recruiters, I was in ROTC. The recruiters came. The Navy was it for me. It was a no-brainer. I could be firefighting right away. So I was a number one nozzleman and repair locker 1 Bravo on the USS Constellation, carrier vessel 64. Yep.
Awesome. 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 So, oh, I like that. Thank you. I appreciate the visual.
Yeah.
So
So
then
that
you would
and
say, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
no. I was just going to say, and I left the fire academy at 23, and I went into Engine 10 on the A platoon as a
Okay.
23-year-old young black kid, and all of the firefighters there were white older gentlemen, and the youngest one had 23 years in the fire department. That was the single best thing that ever happened to me in the fire department
Okay.
because
Okay.
we shared culture like it's supposed to be done. We
Absolutely.
shared information. I was a cup, and they loved it, and we loved each other. And as a matter of fact, there's a guy who worked with me. His name is firefighter Joe Kriebel. God rest his soul. Joe has passed on, but he said this kid's going to be a chief one day. All I wanted to do was drive a fire truck, but he could see something I never would have thought it.
Hmm.
Captain at the most, because I love being in the firehouse.
Okay.
And he said, this kid's going to be a chief one day, and I'm going to drive him. Yeah. So, I mean,
But
that
that's
was,
awesome when you have people like that can see that in you,
yeah. Then you can't see it in yourself. I had
Right.
no possible idea or thought at the time. And as time went on, the lessons and the things that I learned from those gentlemen who were those firefighters, they were all from busy companies throughout the city.
Okay.
Ladder 2, 44s, Ladder 7, Ladder 3. They were all from busy companies, and they came down to Ladder 11 and Engine 10, and they were there. And it just was, I'm telling you, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me in the fire department. And it happened early when I was malleable and impressionable.
23 years old. That is a very young age. That's a great age to get into the fire department. That was, you were blessed. You were, and you
Very.
still are, obviously. So then my next question is this the career you envisioned for yourself growing up? So clearly you answered that. This was
Yes.
what you wanted to do.
Yes. From about 8 or 10 years old, growing up, and I witnessed a house fire, and I just so happened to walk to the window and open the window, and I saw the firefighters on the ladder, and I was like struck from that moment. I knew that I wanted to help people, and that's what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. That really is. Really quick, I don't know if I should say sidebar, if that makes sense for this particular question, but did the kids, the big kids that you have, Are they interested in public safety? Just curious.
So, I have one daughter who's in med school.
Okay.
At Duquesne University. My oldest daughter, Liz, she's out there and she is in pharmacy. So she'll be a doctor of pharmacy. And my youngest daughter is over at University of Sciences. She's in their physician assistance program.
Nice.
My youngest son is an IT tech person. And my oldest son is a barber. My barber, as a matter of fact. So.
Oh, that's cool. So if I need a barber, I gotta hit you up for that.
100%. He is, yeah.
Awesome. So you have some pretty amazing kids doing some pretty amazing things. So I'll take from there the cue that no, that pretty much as far as it's concerned now, public safety is your forte.
I think, yeah, pretty much at this level, at the first responder level, but I kind of like to think that they are, being a doctor, pharmacist, being absolutely. A physician assistant. Yeah, they're helping out, but they're not knocking on doors and picking people up the way that you and I have experienced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when folks hear your name or when we reference you, it kind of just goes hand in hand with SOC. So for folks that aren't familiar with this, or for people who are just curious, what does SOC do?
Okay. Special Operations Command is over. There are three main units underneath. Actually 4, but 3 main. So the fourth one I'm going to start with first. That's Homeland Security. So we're actually building that unit as of now. Right now, we have one captain who works at the DIVIC and the Delaware Valley Intelligence Center. And basically, that's what it is. It's the intelligence level. He provides us with information ahead of time, hopefully, so that we can avoid certain situations or be made aware, situational awareness about things, especially of last year when we had all the riots going on and all the different things that were happening in our communities. So he was able to get information out to us ahead of time so that we could prepare for the situations that we had to deal with our law enforcement partners. So that's Homeland Security, and that's a lot of what we do. But it's a ton. It's in itself, it would be a show. So then there is, yeah. Then there's the Hazardous Materials Administrative Unit, okay, where we have a chief, a captain, and their unit. They actually go out, and there's the educational piece. There is the piece where they go out and they take care of SARA facilities. They inspect our facilities that have reportable quantities of methyl ethyl bad stuff, as we like to call it. Mm-hmm. So, and they do a lot. They do dignitary protection. They go out when joint hazardous assessment teams with other partner agencies. They have very sophisticated meters, and I'll just tell you this: we do a job at the Eagles games, the home games, okay, and we're able to walk around with meters that are so sophisticated they can let us know if there was a cancer patient there. Absolutely. It reads radiation. These meters read just about whatever you can think of. So it's very interesting, but that's a part of what we do. And people may not think of that as a fire department duty, but it is. We work with law enforcement with that. So we got Hazmat Administrative Unit, and they also work with our Hazmat Response Team a lot. Okay. So we just had a hazmat box last night, and what made the news, the big tire fire down in Southwest Philly. They were down, very instrumental with getting foam out there. My team activated from home last night and went to assist with getting, because we were running a little bit low on foam. Well, we had some totes that we had stashed away, stored, and they were able to get that down to assist with extinguishing that fire. And then we have Pennsylvania Task Force 1 that you brought up a couple of times already. Yeah. It's one of the United States 28 urban search and rescue teams. So
I really want to touch base with that, but we're going to take a short break. And
okay.
Thank you. We're going to keep this very informative and awesome conversation going. So please stay tuned.
As birthplace to the first volunteer fire companies, Philadelphia is home to one of the nation's premier fire museums. Fireman's Hall Museum displays the city's fire history in addition to promoting fire safety. You can visit Fireman's Hall Museum in Old City at 147 North 2nd Street. Visit firemanshallmuseum.org to learn more, or watch the museum's show, Curator's Corner, on LaSalle TV.
Welcome back to Freedom from Fire. I'm your host, Lieutenant Lisa DeSamour. We are talking to Deputy Chief Carl Randolph about his career in the Philadelphia Fire Department, all things SOC related. And we're going to, in a few moments, get over and shift over gears to the fire science program. However, before our break, we were just touching on PA Task Force 1. Chief, can you please enlighten us again with PA Task Force 1?
Okay. As I was saying, Pennsylvania Task Force 1 is one of our country's 28 special task forces, urban search and rescue teams that consist of many components: a medical component, a tech rescue component. We have structural engineers, we have doctors, we have canines, human remains dogs. We have all types of the different components that come together to create this team. There's about a 13 vehicle convoy when we're on the road, a few tractor trailers, a bus, some boat teams with all of our technical expertise and equipment. And we can go to any area in the country that has any types of issues, and abroad. We also can go abroad who needs that type of assistance. And we're self-sustaining for 72 hours. That means we take our own showers. That means we take our own toilets. That means we take our own food, milk, MREs, or however we may. That means that if the place is so devastated that we don't impact an already devastated community, and we go out and we help. So 72 hours, we're on our own. And we've, our most recent was Surfside, Florida for the collapse. So that's where we were for 17 days. So that particular unit is very unique in itself because it's a state team.
Okay.
A lot of our members are from the Philadelphia Fire Department, but we have doctors who come from hospitals within the state of Pennsylvania. We do have a few members from Maryland. We partner with like Baltimore right there in Upper Maryland.
Okay.
We have a few members from there. And, we have about 6 hours from the phone call to be wheels up and on the road. So there's a check-in process, there's a medical process, and now with COVID, there's that process. So it's a unique team, and hopefully we can talk about it at some point. And then
definitely.
Finally, there's tech rescue. There is our special operations companies that are out there, other than the hazmat task force that we talked about, are Squad 72, Squad 47, and Rescue 1. So, when buildings fall, when, we're out there removing patients, and we can stabilize buildings and the same type of thing. And last but not least, our Marine units, who have been getting some work lately. They were working last night as well. So the Marine units are staged on the rivers, and they actually respond. We have fast boats now, and they respond up, and they can draft from the river. So the Delaware or the Schuylkill, and there's an endless supply of H2O, and we just need you to give us a supply line, and we can connect it, and we can give you an endless supply. So just like the job last night where they had an issue with hydrants, just bring us a couple lengths of 5-inch, and we'll supply you with some water.
And that's endless what the PFD, does. We get it done, right? We adapt and overcome and make sure business is taken care of.
100% of the time.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the fire science program at CCP.
Okay, the fire science program, I talked about that program a little bit. I just introduced it when I met the folks there.
Okay.
Well, I entered the course myself and graduated from the course.
Okay.
Moved on. I decided to stay at CCP. We have a partnership with Holy Family University, where if you take the 10 core classes, they'll accept your 10 core classes, and you can start Holy Family as a junior.
Oh.
So you can go right into Holy Family with the 10 core classes, but you have to have the 120 credits to graduate. Correct. So I decided to stay. and Holy Family will take up to 64 credits. So I decided to stay at community college because I really enjoyed it. The one thing about community college and the fire science program is you're learning from current professionals, current and retired professionals. We have very unique folks in leadership that are teaching in that program. Our former human resources manager teaches there. Vince Mulray, Chief Mulray, he was
Which I think
first.
is important because a lot of times people will say, "Oh, well, what is this teacher going to teach me that's never had any practical hands-on experience?" But we have people from the department, right?
Correct. People who are current professionals or former professionals who actually are doing it, and they're teaching in the course. And another unique part of that is the professors at Community College of Philadelphia are from our major universities around town. We have a lot of major universities.
Oh yeah.
Until you get into education, you wouldn't even think about it. But the professors are from Drexel. They're from Temple, and they work over in community college and they teach courses. And I totally 100% enjoyed it. Graduated there and went on to Holy Family. But in this program at community college, we are currently transferring a course to an online platform, Canvas.
Okay.
Yeah, so the entire course can be taught remotely now. As a matter of fact, I am doing the very tedious work of putting the hazmat course online as we speak right now. And when I say tedious, I mean, when I was hired as a professor, as an adjunct professor, and as an adjunct professor, you go into a classroom, you teach a class, you set up your lesson plan, and it seems unique to you. However, it's a total different ballgame when it's online. It's a whole different thing. Absolutely, 100%. So, I mean, there's so many checks and balances until, you're personally, I feel like I'm in class again, putting this together. But, the course, actually, you learn anything from emergency scene management. I'm teaching hazmat, all things first responder, fire department related. You're going to experience from the, like I said, from the industry professionals. And when you're done there, if you're a current Philadelphia firefighter, you get a half a point on your promotional exam, which is any promotional exam you take.
And I think a lot of people don't recognize that half a point is significant, isn't it, Chief?
It's huge. It's huge. Yeah, I remember there was about 113 people on an exam with the same score, and then they issue you a random number, and that's how you're ranked. Well, a half point would have put you 113 above all of those people. And that's how I remember 113 people had the same exact score, and the random number had separated them. So, you could take that into your own hands, and it's good. It's a good thing.
And that puts it into perspective for folks who say, when you hear, oh, half point, and you say, well, how, what does that do for me? But that definitely puts it into perspective when you can, put a story to that, and people say, oh, I get it now.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Can you explain the difference between the degree program and the certificate program? Are there like two
Sure
programs?
So it's actually the same exact classes.
Okay.
However, you can enter the certificate program, say, for instance, if you were in your civilian job, or you needed some credits here, or you needed to prove that you had taken these particular courses, you can enter into the certificate program and earn a certificate and take it back to your, the job that you have, and to get those accolades. Within the Philadelphia Fire Department, I wouldn't discourage anybody from taking the certificate program, but I would, if you are a firefighter, it would behoove you to take the program course instead of the certificate. But the certificate does come in handy. It helps you out with, if, say, for instance, you're doing your IFSAC Pro Board, and you need, that level of education to go along with it, that can help you with that. As a matter of fact, that's part 2 of what we're doing. We're crosswalking the courses that we can with IFSAC. So while you're there, you're getting signed off, and you can have a certificate from a certain discipline. And, say, for instance, in my hazmat course, things that need to be signed off. You could maybe be hazmat awareness, hazmat operations, that type of certificate. So
Okay.
the certificate program works for a lot of folks who may not be firefighters per se, but they work a job at sprinkler companies and things like that. We do have a suppression and detection course that we have in the program that you would be signed off for as well. So it helps out a lot, and it keeps you involved, keeps your mind.
And it sounds like something even as simple as professional development or even personal development that goes a long way. Absolutely. How would the fire science program help someone who would like to become a firefighter? So someone who's not in the department, who's deciding to enter into the department, and this is what they want to do.
Okay, so the first thing it can do, as you said, it could help you to decide that this is what you want to do. So maybe you think this is what you want to do. I think you went through the fire academy, the same fire academy that I did. And if you were anything like me, you had the opportunity to see people who had made it to day one and decided, nah. And I always respected those folks, but I didn't understand because that's all I ever wanted to do. But someone says, nah, I don't want to do that. So when they come here, and then they get to see that the fire science program is more than just firefighting. So a person who wants to become a firefighter enters into the program, gets a chance to talk to the industry professionals, gets a chance to be around it. And then that person can then decide, this is exactly what I want to do. And they have the mindset, and then, they transfer that into, all the energy they can have. I've seen study groups come about. As a matter of fact, there were some people who, when I was in the course, have become firefighters. There's quite a few who are firefighters. And I remember giving a ride to one particular person on the way in and home who needed a ride from down South Philly. And that person's a firefighter. And, it sticks out in my head just by you asking that question. Yeah. But that's what happens. You come around it, you become a part of it, and it helps you to make those decisions. It helps you to know for a fact, this is what you want to do. And you're talking to jargon, you're learning from people, those jobs that people talk about, you've written papers on, you've talked about, and those are the types of people, and I got to say it, that excel when they come into the job too. I see it, they excel.
They do. I couldn't agree with you more. Chief, if someone wanted more detailed information in regards to the fire science program, who would they reach out to?
Okay, so they could reach out to, of course, I am always available. I am always able to be reached out to. My email address at CCP is crandolph@ccp.edu. But if they were interested in joining in admissions or any of that, they would do ccp.edu/admissions. And it's pretty simple. Yeah. And you would go in there, you would sign up, you would put your information in, and then you could reach out to me. I will expedite people who run into any issues. You can reach out to me personally, and I definitely can help them out. But that is pretty much how you get started.
Okay. So we have covered so much information in a short amount of time. And I think this happened with us before, where we had to bring you back because it was it's so detailed, it's so involved, and it's it was so much more information we wanted to kind of get out there. I didn't even get a chance to kind of highlight your resume, and I really wanted to do that. So Chief, you got to come back.
Okay. Just tell me when. I'll make time, just like anytime. I'll make time.
Awesome. So remember, if you would like to find out more about us on LaSalle TV, you can check out our social media sites. And if you're interested in learning about the Philadelphia Fire Department, visit our Facebook, Twitter, and web pages. Also, check out Fireman's Hall Museum, located 147 North 2nd Street, and meet with our museum curator, firefighter Brian Anderson. I would like to once again thank our chief for joining us today. And I would also like to thank everyone for tuning in and watching. So until next time, remember, fire is everyone's fight. Stay safe and remain free from fire.